What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk on a couple of different things, one of which is Lucid expansion, my favorite topic. So there was some things that did come out today that is alluding to something big coming. So I'm going to talk about that. In addition to, a lot of people want to know, are these prices actually sustainable? Are we just going to have a consolidation? Are we going to go up? Where are we going? So I'm going to talk on all of that and what's happening behind the scenes. Before I get into any of that though, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. And if you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, let's get right to it. So live tickers going at the very bottom, up roughly about 0.5%. So it was a little bit more mixed today. So we did have moments where we were very much red, but still 13.3 million for volume. So that's a very positive sign. 23.5 is the average, and that is a 6-month average, and just shy of about 1 million shares being purchased by institutions on the secondary market. So there was something that did come out today. I'm just going to quickly pop over to Interactive Brokers, and it was this. So Lucid did appoint actually 2 new VPs, a VP of Process Transformation, and the second is VP of Global Logistics. So a lot of people want to know now, what is this associated to? Well, it is expansion. The question is, what is this expanding for? Because technically there's a lot of people that could allude to saying that it's more so for China. And typically mid last year, we heard a lot of news saying that it was going to be mid-decade that they're going to start expansion to China. And then news recently, I think it was in January, where it's just basically saying that it's coming. More news is coming, but we haven't really heard anything. And we all know when it comes down to the Saudi Arabia facility, which is due for 2025-26 to actually launch, we already have a lot of agreements. They've already started to break ground. There's a lot of progress on that front. But China, there's absolutely nothing. So are they still doing China? What is it? Are these 2 positions to kind of facilitate that? Or are they just going to start focusing on Europe? Because keep in mind, when it comes down to Europe, they want to do roughly about 15 plus studios over the next couple of years. And as of right now, they only have 1, which is Germany, Munich. Very profitable if you ask me. But still, when it comes down to it though, a lot of people want to know, what is this actually about? So when it comes down to it though, Lucid always likes to do, and especially if you do remember from Q1, 1 week before their earnings, they like to give a little bit more of an Easter egg, possibly hype up investors. And that might be actually the case as well when it comes down to this. Why are they hiring 2 new VPs? What is it for? Are they going to be doing something very special for global that we don't know? Because I've always been very excited about Lucid's expansion. Both China and Europe have a huge amount of demand for EVs. And one thing that's really surprised me over the last couple of earnings was the North American demand, more specifically in the States. So hands down, wherever Lucid is planning on going, there is a huge demand. And we all know studios are doing exactly what they're intended to do to raise demand, to get actual reservations. So hopefully both of these are associated to Europe. My own 2 cents, because I think when it comes down to China, there's been hit and miss. A lot of people are really not big fans of that. And I think you can tell based on what happened to Tesla. Just hands down, China said, you know what, we're shutting your facility down. And Tesla can't really do anything about that. Although there is a huge demand there and probably very profitable, I think it's just that a little bit more ambiguous scenario of China that won't really, no matter what happens, I don't think any American company can fully flourish in China. Just my own 2 cents. But still, it could be very profitable. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But this is a nice little Easter egg leading into the earnings. And in case you do not know, it was actually announced for August the 3rd. So make sure you do subscribe because I am going to be live streaming that. But getting back to it though, that is some basic information, and there was some good news that did come out, possibly how just Europe is very excited for a lot of new brands coming out, one of which is Lucid. So again, hopefully that will translate to more and more reservations coming out of the many studios that Europe is going to have. And then, like I said, this is the latest news that did come in on January the 7th, just saying that basically China is to follow. So let me know your thoughts on all that. But when it comes down to it though, a lot of people want to know, is this price actually sustainable? Why are we going? Because keep in mind, we have gone up quite a lot. And I did do a video here and several times around here saying that we were at the bottom, that there was a huge amount of institutionals, amount of purchasing going on behind the scenes. And keep in mind, during this time frame, there was so many people, everyone and their dog were just talking about recessions. When it comes down to it though, we have actually gone up quite a lot. But for the most part, I feel that we are getting off of our intrinsic value, that most of this was due to a value rally because of the technicals. But now I think a lot of people are seeing a lot of nice growth because all the actual indicators behind the scenes, the economic indicators for the consumers, are all showing that things are very much positive. So I think the whole talk about recessions might be pushed until 2023. And again, depending on what happens with the Feds, because like I said, there's only two real negative things that could have happened, one of which was the Tesla earnings, and they came out yesterday, for the most part pretty good. And the second one is on the 27th, and that is the Fed meeting. So it depends on what happens on that case if they do raise it, because I think they're going to be raising it 150 basis points over the next two meetings. So it depends on what happens in that case, but I think I'm very optimistic still on Lucid, but there is still a lot of good things happening behind the scenes, one of which is associated to short interest. And I like to bring them up as a fairly good benchmark because clearly those individuals are very bearish. So when they're closing their positions, it can be seen as a very good, positive kind of catalyst if you ask me. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. But this chart right here does compare the closing price and the actual short percentage. And we all know what happened when it does go inverse. We go parabolic as far as the stock goes. And closer kind of deviation we do get, the upward kind of momentum we gain. So you can see that right here, we've gone down quite a lot. So there is a massive deviation or a gap right in here, if you want to call it that. It is starting to close. So again, insinuating that things are starting to trend up. Again, maybe another October scenario where we start just to get enough momentum, get pent up, and then we just blast off, because we all know Lucid is well overdue for a rally. And even continuing on this, there is a lot of institutions that are constantly buying behind the scenes. And I'm just going to scroll right here. This is all the transactions just from today as of right now. Obviously the market's not closed right now, we are officially in power hour, but looking right here, I'm still going huge amount of institutions buying. And when we did have those dips this morning around 10 o'clock, we did have a huge amount of institutions buying. So you can see a sum of roughly about 4 or 5 million just in this time frame of roughly about 1 hour or 45 minutes. So that was enough to kind of bounce us off of that support level and help us trend higher. So I think a lot of things behind the scenes are all indicating that this is not overdone. We might have moments of consolidation over the next little bit, because on the actual charts, stochastic, you can see it is at 86, which theoretically is very much overbought. Even though we do have that deviation, so black line above the red, which is in general a little bit more of a bullish sentiment, I think more psychologically we're going to have a little bit more consolidation. Like I said on my video on the weekend, that most people are going to start to really worry about the next Fed meeting, whether it be either Thursday, Friday, so either today or tomorrow, or early next week. So just anticipate that and keep that in mind, that we might have a little bit more consolidation, but overall it's very healthy. We recently did get over all of the moving average. So recently that 100-day moving average, the next kind of target is that 200-day moving average at $28.30. Just want to do one quick thing, pop back over to Interactive Brokers, because when I do technical analysis, I go over moving averages and indicators and things like that, but a lot of people like to use the Elliott wave. So just looking at that component, and I do have a link to Interactive Brokers in the link in the description below, and also the comments. All you have to do, click on the link, has a lot of good information, and like analyst ratings or even Elliott wave, whatever floats your boat, this has. But keeping that in line, so a short-term price prediction for Lucid is roughly about $25.30 to $26.90. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But just quickly going back here and kind of finishing this off, so technicals are looking fairly good. We are still within the central Bollinger Band, or the higher percentile I should say, but we aren't out of it. So 9 times out of 10 when we do actually break out of it, such as here, we do consolidate a little bit. That's usually what happens, and similarly what happens on when it goes outside on the bottom part as well. So overall, this is actually a very healthy growth what's going on. So it's not too bad from what I can see. I can most likely anticipate around the $22 mark. That's when we most likely will have a little bit more consolidation, which exactly on, I believe it's on Sunday when I did my weekly video on Lucid, that's where I put us at, between that 22 to 22.50 mark. So hopefully it is within that prediction, but just want to quickly go over here some resistance and support points. So So first, second, and third resistance, so 2162, 2197, and 2260. So right now we are exactly at that first resistance point. So hopefully we do have enough to run up past there. Actually, it does look like 2178 was our high today, so we did break past our first resistance point, first, second, and third support point. So $20.64, $20.1966. So this is where you get that pivot point on that Elliott wave that I pointed out, that if we can stay over this $19 mark, then we are still continuing our bullish trend. So as of right now, everything is pointing to a continuation of on the actual technicals, on the price point, everything is looking good until otherwise, or you see institutions start to pull back or something like that. You never know. And still, one final thing I just want to bring up, it is 13F season, institutions disclosing their positions to the SEC. Still small fish as of right now, but there is still a lot of institutions getting in, which is a very positive sign if you ask me. Big players are all going to be the first and second week of August, so coinciding with actual Lucid earnings. So let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below and what you've been doing. If you've been buying, selling, holding, whatever it might be, let me know. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. And once again, if you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen.